Tough night for the Tennessee football team here inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. Alabama 37, Tennessee 20. Alongside Patrick Brown, I'm Ryan Callahan with this Go Vols 24/7 No-Huddle. Patrick, was one of those games where it just seemed like not much really went right for Tennessee in this one. Not plenty of things you could point to that they did okay, but just some crucial mistakes in key spots that ultimately cost Tennessee this game. A game-changing safety, and obviously the pick six right before halftime, interception by Joey Aguilar thrown right there on the goal line with 9 seconds left in the half, and Alabama takes it all the way back 99 yards for a touchdown to put Tennessee down 23-7 going into the locker room, and the Vols never really recovered from there.
Yeah, I hope we don't hit by any trash in the wind here, but just big picture. We're going to get to the end of the first half here in a second, but yeah, just too many mistakes. I mean, you make too many mistakes to win on the road against a good team like Alabama. And I mean, did Alabama play that great? I mean, Tennessee, 17-point loss, you have a 14-point swing or a 10-point swing at worst before halftime, and then the safety. So, I mean, there's your difference in the game right there. I think Tennessee had more yards, Tennessee had more first downs, but Tennessee also made a lot more mistakes, drops, 10 penalties again on the road that were an issue. The first two drives were halted in part because of penalties. So, just a frustrating night. They've got to play better. We've talked the last few weeks around about, like, this team's played a lot of, mistake-prone football, and is this who they are, or can they put together a full performance? And the answer tonight is resounding. This is just who they are.
Yeah, it's kind of started early. Tennessee got the ball to start the game, didn't score on its opening drive. Alabama comes right back down the field, takes a 7-0 lead. Tennessee fought back, tied the game, and had a chance, got the ball with a chance to take the lead, and took over at their own 19, and somehow end up in that possession with a safety. Just a bad play there by Joey Aguilar. One of his worst moments so far at Tennessee, honestly, to be at the 9-yard line and have a couple.
He had one coming later. That was worse.
He did, but to have a couple check down options open on that play and end up taking a safety with an intentional grounding call. It was obviously a key moment in the game. And next thing you know, Alabama's up 16-7 when Tennessee previously had a chance to take the lead on that drive if they could have done something, and looked like they might be doing something before an offensive pass interference call pushed them back inside the 10. So that sequence there, before we get to the goal line sequence, I thought was really a really bad moment that kind of set Tennessee back and put them down almost double digits.
Well, yeah, on the drive before that, they have a pass to Brazel inside the 30, and then they got a penalty for lining up wrong. They covered up Braylon Staley, and so you go from 1st and 10 inside the 30 to 2nd and 15, 1st and 15. That backs you up. Then you have an offensive pass interference, which is just sort of it's not anybody's fault necessarily. They call it because I think Chris Brazel caught the ball downfield. It was just a yard, but if you're blocking downfield, the pass has to be behind the line of scrimmage. That's what Josh Heupel said after the game. That was the explanation he got. But yeah, I mean, that was a key sequence. But you're down 16-7. You put a great drive together, a couple 4th down conversions at that point, I believe. And then you're on the doorstep of pulling within 16-14 or 16-10. And all right, let's get to it.
Yeah,
we buried the lead here.
Yeah, second and goal at the 1. Tennessee calls its final timeout after a 1-yard run there.
9 seconds left, no timeouts.
Yeah, 9 seconds left, so you don't have any timeouts. Everyone in the stadium knows you've got to throw it there. Tennessee comes out in a 3 tight end set.
Well, it was a heavy set. They had more defensive linemen on the field than wide receivers.
Yeah, Carson Gentle out there goes in motion to the left side, and Tennessee goes play action and throws it to the right side there. And the throw from Joey Aguilar is kind of right in line with where we were sitting in the press box. Thrown a bit behind him, a few feet behind him probably. It needed to be thrown more toward the pylon to give Miles Kitselman a chance to catch it. Instead, it goes back the other way, 99 yards.
Yeah, 3 things for me. 1, the throw's got to be better. That's the reason it was a pick six. Even if you miss it, you've got to miss it wide. You can't throw it. He threw it in the worst place you can throw it. Nobody really wanted to throw Joey under the bus after the game,
and Joey Aguilar didn't talk with reporters.
Treatment. He took a beating tonight. He's a tough guy. He'll be all right. But number 2, my biggest issue is for an obvious pass, you don't have your 3 stud receivers on the field, and some of those guys. Mike Matthews had a drop tonight. There were some plays that they didn't make, but I would want those guys on the field more than I would want 2 defensive linemen. I do think the play call. I mean, again, everyone knows you're passing it. The only thing I've got is that getting in a heavy formation that you had converted 2 4th and shorts at that point is going to give Alabama at least maybe are they going to run it? That's all I got. I mean, because it doesn't make sense to me. But my biggest issue is the ball placement obviously was not good. You got to have your receivers on the field for an obvious pass situation, and then you can second guess the play call because it didn't work. Nobody was I don't know if they were told not to criticize it during the multiple players were like, hey, that's the play we call. We trust the coaches, that kind of thing. But it just didn't work out. It was a play. Should they have just spread it out and called a pass? they had done that earlier with
Yeah.
Braylon Staley on a touchdown, a short touchdown. So it didn't work out. That's what matters, and it was obviously a huge point in the game.
And my take here, that 1st and goal call to run it there at the 2-yard line. Use your last time
That's
out.
the third part. I think if you were going to go to that heavy package, do it on 1st down and run it then. If you're going to run on 1st down.
Yeah, I was going to say, throw the ball on 1st down, save the timeout. That way, if you get sacked, you still have the timeout. If you don't, you've still got a chance to run the ball because you have that timeout in your pocket. So a couple things that could have gone differently there for Tennessee. A lot of things they could rehash and look back on, but it was hard to overcome that. Obviously, down 16 to start the second half. They came out, fought a bit in the second half, had a chance to get back in it, but just couldn't quite close.
Yeah, the sequence that Josh Heupel was upset about was after the turnover. You get sort of the wonky, empty hand turnover again. You're near midfield. You get a Deshaun Bishop run. He had a good night. They needed more of him earlier. And then they have a bad snap where Pendleton snaps it when Joey Aguilar's changing the calls. Then Mike Matthews on 3rd and long has the ball right in his hands. He's got to make that play. He might have been able to, after the catch, get the 1st down, but even then you pin Alabama at their 1 on that drive, and they go 99 yards the other way because you miss a million tackles.
Right.
So, the defense was better. They held Alabama under 400 yards or something, but you give up 99 and 91-yard touchdown drives.
Right.
Miss a bunch of tackles. Alabama was able to keep the ball away from you in the second half when you're trying to make a comeback. Just disappointing all around.
And Alabama's a good offensive team, but certainly plenty to dissect on the defensive side too. Heard plenty of criticism of Tim Banks and the defense on social media, of course, throughout the night. But the mistakes most people will be talking about.
Water is wet.
Yeah, but most people coming out of this one will be focusing on the offensive mistakes, and obviously that pick 6 before halftime being the main one. So another frustrating night here for Tennessee at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Tennessee's 11th consecutive loss in this stadium. They haven't won here since 2003. Ball's now 5-2 overall, 2-2 in the SEC. Still a chance to maybe play their way into the college football playoff, but probably got to be perfect from here on out to have a real shot at that.
Yeah, you can't lose anymore.
Yep.
So you got to find a way to beat everybody home. You got Oklahoma and Vanderbilt coming to town. You have somehow go win at Florida.
Yeah,
they got to survive Kentucky next week. Kentucky almost beat Texas tonight.
Got to go to Kentucky.
No easy games in this league.
Yeah, they took Texas.
Especially when you make a lot of mistakes.
They took Texas to overtime tonight. They did lose that game.
Yes.
Yeah. So Tennessee headed to Kentucky next week, and they'll have to bounce back from another tough one here against Alabama. For Patrick Brown, I'm Ryan Callahan.